Well, hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. Today we are going to be looking at episode 1, or maybe 2, I'll get to that, of Mobile Suit Double Zeta Gundam. Very controversial, but I'm going to get into that. And before I get started, subscribe if you haven't. I'm doing a giveaway that's actually about to end, but then a new one will start, so it'll be entered anyway. But for the current one, 2 giveaways, so 2 possible winners. We have this, the G-Frame GP01 FB, as well as the Iron-Blooded Orphans, Barbarous Lupus Rex high grade. So yeah, be sure to subscribe. All right, so what's strange about this is the first episode is technically the prelude where they talk about what happened in Zeta Gundam, even in what happened in Mobile Suit Gundam to set up a Double Zeta Gundam. The thing is, the only place where it shows the prelude as being episode 0 is on Wikipedia, whereas the Blu-ray or even the TV show database and even the Gundam Wiki shows the prelude is episode 1. So, yeah, I'm just going to go with this being the first episode. I don't know. I am very confused, to be honest. Here we go. This is The Boy from Shangri-La. And I gotta admit, this opening song is a banger. And even the second opening song later in the season also slaps. So, just good music all around. Here we're seeing the Shangri-La colony and Judo Ashita in a petite mobile suit. So Judo Ashita, he is the main protagonist of Mobile Suit Double Zeta Gundam. And at the beginning, you see him in, again, that petite mobile suit, and he's a junk dealer, and him and his friends, who will start to meet here shortly, are also junk dealers as well. But, you know, first of all, he finds what looks like an escape pod. This is a really cool shot because we're seeing a battle-damaged Argama and we're seeing a damaged Hyzak, kind of showing that there was a battle in this area. The Argama from Zeta. This is a direct continuation. You could end the last episode of Zeta Gundam and start with Double Zeta, and you can see the through line here. And it is pretty cool that even Judo Ashita recognizes the Argama. She's familiar with the mobile suits, the battles that have been taking place, etc. And we see Bright and the crew on the Argama. They're trying to land in Shangri-La for repairs. And at the same time, based on what happened to Camille from Zeta Gundam, Bright's curious how he's doing. And, from the events of Zeta Gundam, if you remember the ending, spoiler, Camille rams the Zeta into Papta Mishrako, killing him. He's kind of gotten to this, this shell shock. He is, all the war, everything that's been going on, all the killing, it's kind of got him in this, veggie state. So we've so far seen more characters from Zeta than Double Zeta, which is really cool. We see Shinta and Kum, the kids. We see Fa Yuri, she's taking care of Camille. So, this really does open up as a direct continuation of Zeta. Now here's something I didn't really pick up on before, but they are talking about 10,000 gillas, which I guess is the way they named money in Shangri-La. I don't know if that's colonies inside one or certain colonies, but kind of a cool little piece of world building. And some more cool world building, seeing how the colony utilizes mobile suits, getting the junk from the colonies and transporting it around. So here in the escape pod, they find Yazan from Zeta Gundam. Yazan was in the RX-139 Hammurabi, and here's what it looks like real quick, just to kind of get a little look at that. And so far, we've been introduced now to Judo's other friends. It's Lino, Bicha, and Mondo, who will be, main characters throughout the rest of the season. Yazan wakes up in the escape pod, and I was reading on the wiki that he was in there for maybe a couple days, so I'm unsure what kind of life support systems are in the escape pod. But Judo kind of stands up to him because he seemed kind of threatening, and Judo was pointing out to him, hey, we kind of saved your life. All right, and now we've been introduced to Lena, that's Judo's sister, and she's very integral to the rest of the plot of Double Zeta. Interesting thing to consider here is Yazan is a Titan, so he's not Zeon or Neo Zeon or Axis Zeon. But Judo gets him some clothing. They're kind of helping him out, and they kind of don't seem to see the harm in it, really. And speaking of clothes, I kind of like Judo's look here. It kind of reminds me of Thriller Michael Jackson, that red jacket. But a lot of the other clothing style we see within Double Zeta Gundam is like very peak 80s. So there was a key piece of information Judo kind of spilled there that got Yazan's interest, and that is the Argama. And I think a lot of the background music is really good. There's just a couple goofy tunes, and there was actually one near the beginning of the episode. You know, they've arrived at the port where the Argama is, and while they're there, they see Fa Yuri, and they've put Camille in a truck, and so this is showing, you know, Camille and Fa departing to get to a hospital. And I really like we're seeing Judo's character here, even though, you know, as a junk dealer, he wants to be able to take advantage of a situation to make money. But you can tell, even as he mentioned earlier, when that truck driver was thrown out of the truck, that he doesn't like to see people get hurt. You know, also kind of interesting just to think of what was going on during Zeta and Yazan as part of the Titans, and then we have Fa, who was actually piloting herself, and they're actually close in this moment, yet they were huge rivals during Zeta. And this is a scene kind of confirming, you know, Camille's in that vegetable state, the shock of war. It's a very intense moment, in my opinion. Here's where perhaps some new type communication is occurring. Very interesting how they kind of dive into the background lives of these characters. You know, they're junk dealers on this colony. Due to war, parents had to leave, go other places for work, maybe send money, but due to power, tax bills, money's just not enough. It even speaks to what we saw in Mobile Suit Gundam and in Zeta. Look at, you know, Amuro's parents, how preoccupied they were with other things. Zeta, Camille, and his parents, how, I mean, his mom seemed to be a little bit more caring, but, you know, to see how his father was, that seems to be another running theme in Gundam. And they're setting it up here in this first or second episode. So what we're seeing here is the truck Yazan stole to get to the colony with the food in the back. We're starting to see the food rise up. And that is due to the reduced gravity. So this is another world building element that if you don't notice it, you might think the animation's crazy. But this is kind of showing where now we're going to see, you know, gravity is kind of low and people are going to be flying around. So it's pretty cool hearing one of the, I guess, the engineers say this is why I didn't want to let them in here. I guess they're afraid with a military ship coming to the port that it's going to attract attention they don't want. And yeah, we kind of see the little petite mobile suit battle occur. And I kind of like this. I'm not wild about using guns. How do we help them? So interesting situation where they were just working with Yazan, probably thinking nothing of it. But then kind of seeing how the situation's getting worse and worse. And then to see the little kids pick up a gun, that was pretty crazy. All right, and you can see here with Bright sort of protecting, guarding the Zeta Gundam, not wanting Yazan to get a hold of it. So Judo, again, his new type abilities are kicking in. You know, he meets Camille earlier. He's now seeing the Zeta Gundam, and he kind of senses Camille once more. And I can see this coming off as kind of goofy, where they're just throwing produce. It's like a produce fight. Okay, now that's all types of wrong right there. He knows it's a Gundam, and he doesn't want to hurt anyone. Okay, so when we would normally see Bright slap around the kids, this time Judo kicked Bright. So that's how Judo gets the Gundam in this season. He kicks Bright, jumps into it, but he knows what the Gundam is. In fact, he knows this is the Zeta Gundam, so the events of Zeta Gundam could just be widely known. And, you know, and I'll admit, a lot of this stuff is a little goofier. It's less serious in tone in terms of, even though I think this music is pretty cool, just what it's playing for, where the new type takes the Gundam. This is kind of what initiates the new type into the Gundam world by a calling of getting into the Gundam, using it to help out. But it's kind of done with a lighter tone than what we're used to. And so for that, you know, Judo's witnessing the killing. It's done by Yazan. Now the stakes are getting a little higher, and I think Judo and his friends are kind of realizing how much of a terrible situation this is. And a perfect time to take it seriously when you are piloting a Gundam. Alright, battle is heading out into the colony like most Gundam openings. And some good music too. So once they get into the main area of the colony, they then get to a junkyard where Yazan finds a, I think it's called a middle mobile suit or medium mobile suit. It's kind of bigger than the petite. It's not for battling, but he's taking his chance here.
Oh, nani?
How convenient. Almost seemingly getting killed by his own beam saber, or the Zeta's own beam saber. It didn't seem to do much damage to the Zeta, but he was able to fire the wrist-mounted rockets right into the mobile suit. And Lino and Bicha and Mondo happen to have set up some charges to cause a blast in the junkyard to maybe cause a diversion. And this allows Yazan Judo to get away. All right, here we see an Axis Zeon ship approach. And we are introduced to Mashimir. And they shoot off a briefcase. So curious what everyone thinks. There's not as much goofiness in this one as there are in later episodes. The lightheartedness of getting the Gundam, some of the music style that was played during some scenes kind of lessened the impact. But overall, I can't really complain too much. I guess we would all rather see Camille doing well and being, you know, a part of the team. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, what you think of this first/second episode of Double Zeta Gundam. Let me know what you think of the odd discrepancy between what is the first episode and what is the second episode, and what would be considered official. Yeah, and thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like if you'd like, and talk to you later.